This is how you can make latte art. What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from 416 Coffee, and this is episode 34 of Coffee with Chris. Now, for a while, I've had a lot of requests to do kind of a basics of latte art tutorial on the channel, just because there's a lot of people that are making espressos at home, making them for their significant other, and they want to spice it up a bit. They want to hit some cool designs and stuff like that. So latte art's one of those things that once you get the basics of the technique down, it's not that hard. It's not super complicated. There's a few things you have to do right, but once you knock down those few things, it's actually pretty easy to consistently pour like some cool designs. So I did do an entire video on milk texturing earlier, and I'll link that below. Milk texturing is kind of the first step for this latte art tutorial, right? If you don't have the right milk texture, if there's too much air, if there's not enough air, if it's burnt, you're not gonna have good results. So I'll link that below, but we'll go over it really quick right here, kind of the basics of it. So pretty much that ripping sound, when you froth milk, that ripping sound is air being added into the milk. So what I like to do, start with my wand completely submerged, and then find where I'm just getting a bit of ripping. And you want to create a whirlpool. So you'll see the milk should be swirling around in one direction or the other. You want to have it kicked out a bit, so you take the pitcher down in, kick it out a bit, and get the whirlpool going. So once you have the whirlpool going, you want to hear that ripping a bit. Now that's adding milk in. Now the reason why we want that's adding air into the milk. The reason why we want the whirlpool is because that's how we get the air throughout the milk. So we have milk that's frothed, and there's micro foam, those nice little bubbles kind of throughout it. So that's the basics of milk frothing. And then you want to get it just to the point where it's too hot to hold. Not to the point where like you touch it for a second, it would burn your hand. Just to the point where it's uncomfortable to hold it for any sort of duration, right? That's kind of the temperature you want to get it to. Now, you can use thermometers and things like that, but going by feel is the best way to do this, I find. So have your hand on the pitcher, and once it gets too hot for you to really hold it there, or like at least uncomfortable, just take it off and then you're done steaming. So you want to add the air, have that ripping noise early in your frothing. And then after you hear the ripping a bit for, a couple seconds, then move the wand up, keep the swirl going, but you don't need to add any more air. So the problem is with a lot of people is they add too much air, and then when you're trying to do your latte art, it's coming out clumpy, and it just kind of pours on top of the crema. So once you have your milk frothed, take your espresso, give it a nice little swirl, and then what you want to do is you want to tilt the cup so that the espresso pools into one area of the cup and it's as deep as possible. And you want to pour your milk into that deep area of the cup. So pour from high and deep. Now the reason being is that you want to get the milk to settle underneath the crema of the espresso. You don't want to break that crema early. So when we tilt the cup, we make the espresso as deep as possible. We're pouring directly into the deepest part of that espresso, and we're taking the milk, we're pouring it from high, so we're taking the milk and we're letting it go underneath. Now once the cup gets about 3/4 full, or 2/3, 3/4, depending on the size of the cup, you want to take your pour and drop it down to the lip. Now keep the angle here. You want to keep the cup tilted right over. And then as you drop down, you pour, you should see that beautiful contrast, the white, the milk being poured right on top of the espresso crema. So you drop down and then you're able to pour on top. And then as it's filling, obviously you don't want to spill, so your cup's tilting back to being flat. And that's when you're doing your design. So you're doing your design and then your cup's coming back to flat, and this is where you'll do a pull through for a heart or something like that. So that's kind of the basic recipe for making latte art. Now, as far as actual designs and things like that, there's different pitcher movements, which I'll go over in another video. Let's call this latte art basics. We'll go into an advanced video, but for right now, just practice getting contrast. If you can get to the point where have your espresso, have your milk, you're pouring, you're filling, you're dropping down, you're pouring on top, and you're getting even a perfect circle or whatever, you're getting nice contrast on top, then learning how to do the designs is relatively easy, at least for the basic designs. It's very easy to build upon that. But work on getting there first. And like I said, probably the biggest barrier will be your milk texturing. So work to get your milk texturing perfect, and then that'll make the rest of the process really easy. But remember, start by pouring into the deepest part, fill it up 2/3, drop down, pour on top of the crema, flatten out, pull through. And that's how you'll get hearts or basic shapes on top. But work on that first, and then we'll do video number 2 for advanced creations. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Send us some pictures of your home latte art experiments, and I'll see you next time.